She struck me hard across the face in front of 30 people. The cake was untouched on the table, balloons sagged on the wall, and my brother still clutched the knife like he was some kind of king waiting for cheers. Her voice sliced through the air. "Hand him the penthouse." My cheek burned, but I didn't flinch. Instead, I forced a slow, deliberate smile and held her gaze, because that was the final time I would let them see me like this. All my life I thought my purpose was to prove myself, not to strangers but to my own family. Yet my mother's praise was always cold, and her eyes colder still. My younger brother Adrian, born 3 years after me, was crowned royalty from the moment he could walk. Every small effort was celebrated with trophies. Every victory I bled for was brushed aside. I worked nights, paid my way through college, earned degrees in business, finance, real estate. Meanwhile, they lived in the house I purchased, drove the car I paid off, and ate meals funded by me. Adrian never held a job longer than half a year, but to Mom he was just finding his way. I built my own life. A penthouse overlooking the city skyline, marble counters, my own elevator. My sanctuary, my triumph. But to them, it was simply spare space for Adrian to transition into manhood. When the birthday invitation arrived, handwritten, no excuses allowed, I went out of duty, not affection. The second I stepped in, I knew the night was rigged. Adrian's friends were already calling him the new king of the tower. One even slapped my back and laughed. "So you're finally sharing the wealth." Mom stood up, wine glass in hand, and delivered a speech on sacrifice, brotherhood, family legacy. Then she dropped her bombshell. I had graciously agreed to let Adrian take over my penthouse. That it was gathering dust, and he deserved the chance to feel like a real man. That's when I said no. Clear, firm. And that's when her hand cracked against my face. I stayed silent, adjusted my collar, walked away. But inside something hardened. It wasn't rage. It was clarity. They didn't see me as a son. I was their donor, their lifeline, their endless supply. I began with silence. Blocked calls, ignored texts, shut every door. Then I acted. Quietly, legally, completely. I sold the penthouse without a word. Closed the joint bank account Mom abused. Cut off the utilities she ignored. Cancelled leases she assumed I'd renew. She discovered it all only when the notices landed at her door. Adrian rang me from a borrowed phone, panicked. "Bro, what's happening?" I said nothing. He texted a photo of the empty penthouse. "Where's my stuff?" My reply was one word: sold. Everything in that apartment, down to the silverware, was mine. He called me a monster. I didn't care. Then I went further. Every loan I had ever given them, tuition, bailouts, car notes, I had documented. They thought I was generous. I was meticulous. My lawyer filed claims, froze their accounts, placed liens. Their beloved house. My name was on the deed. Eviction notices followed swiftly. They had 30 days to leave. It wasn't cruelty, it was severance. Clean cut from the bleeding. Weeks later I returned. Not to reconcile but to witness. They were surrounded by half-filled boxes. Mom looked shrunken, defeated. Adrian couldn't meet my eyes. I handed them envelopes. Letters, not money. To Mom. "I've spent my life chasing your approval. I've stopped running." To Adrian. "Being a man isn't about where you sleep. Figure it out." Then I left. Didn't look back. Now I live smaller, quieter. I cook for myself, breathe freely, sleep without weight on my chest. Relatives call. Cousins lecture that family is blood. But blood doesn't outweigh self-respect. I gave them everything once. Now I give them nothing. And in that nothing I finally found peace. That birthday slap wasn't humiliation. It was liberation. The last gift I ever accepted.